The first transformation begins quietly in the muscles that support the most ordinary moments of daily life. Strength, in its most practical sense, is not about lifting heavy weights or performing impressive athletic movements. It is about the ability to rise from a chair, walk across a room, climb a flight of stairs, or carry groceries without hesitation. These simple actions rely heavily on a network of muscles located around the hips, thighs, and glutes. In earlier decades of life, these muscles work so naturally that most people rarely think about them. They activate automatically when the body needs to stand, bend, or move. But after the age of 50, especially for women experiencing hormonal shifts associated with menopause, these muscles can gradually lose some of their strength if they are not challenged regularly. One of the reasons for this change lies in how modern life shapes our daily movement patterns. Many hours are spent sitting at a desk, in a car, or relaxing at home. When the body remains seated for long periods, the large muscles of the hips and thighs remain relatively inactive. Over time, the nervous system adapts to this reduced demand by sending fewer signals to these muscles. Muscle fibers begin to shrink slightly, coordination between muscle groups becomes less precise, and the effort required to perform basic movements slowly increases. A person may notice that standing up requires a brief push from the arms, or that the legs feel less steady after sitting for a long time. These subtle signs are not simply a result of aging. They are a reflection of muscles that have been underused. When a woman begins practicing controlled chair squats, something important begins to change. The movement itself is remarkably simple. Sitting down slowly and then rising back to standing requires the hips to hinge, the thighs to stabilize the knees, and the glute muscles to generate upward force.
Ow.
These muscles, which may have been relatively quiet during long periods of sitting, suddenly receive a clear message from the nervous system. They are needed again. As the body lowers toward the chair, the muscles lengthen under control, guiding the descent with stability. When the body rises again, those same muscles contract to lift the body's weight against gravity. This repeated activation has a powerful effect on how the body organizes movement. The glute muscles begin to participate more actively in supporting the pelvis, which reduces unnecessary strain on the lower back. The quadriceps in the front of the thighs stabilize the knees, helping maintain proper alignment during standing and walking. At the same time, the core muscles engage gently to keep the spine balanced and upright. Instead of relying on smaller muscles or awkward compensations, the body relearns how to distribute effort across its strongest structures. Over time, the nervous system becomes more efficient at coordinating these muscles. The act of standing up, which may once have required concentration or assistance from the hands, begins to feel smooth and automatic again. Walking becomes more stable, posture becomes more upright, and the body begins to move with greater confidence. What appears outwardly as a simple exercise is actually a powerful reawakening of the body's natural support system, reminding these essential muscles that they still play a central role in maintaining independence and ease of movement throughout daily life. The second transformation reveals itself in the bones, a living framework that quietly adapts to the forces applied to it, especially after the age of 50. For women, this becomes increasingly significant because hormonal changes associated with menopause can accelerate the natural loss of bone density, leaving the skeletal system more vulnerable to fractures and structural weakness. Bone is far from static. It is a dynamic tissue that constantly remodels itself in response to mechanical stress. Every time a muscle pulls on a bone, every time weight presses down through the joints, tiny cells called osteoblasts and osteoclasts respond by building and resorbing bone tissue. When these forces are consistent and purposeful, they help maintain bone mass and strengthen the internal architecture that supports the body. When the forces are absent, bones gradually become thinner, less dense, and more susceptible to injury. This subtle decline is often imperceptible until a small misstep or a routine activity causes discomfort or imbalance. A controlled chair squat, simple though it may seem, introduces just the right kind of mechanical stress to encourage bone maintenance. Each time a woman lowers herself toward a chair, the hips, knees, and spine absorb weight in a controlled manner. As she rises, the muscles contract and pull on the bones, stimulating them to maintain their density. Unlike high-impact exercises that place sudden stress on the skeletal system, chair squats provide a slow, deliberate force that bones can safely adapt to. The hips, femur, and vertebrae experience a cycle of gentle compression and release that nourishes the joint cartilage and encourages the skeletal structure to respond appropriately. This mechanical signaling is subtle, yet profoundly important. It reminds the body that these bones are still essential for movement and balance, and that they must remain resilient in order to support daily activity. The beauty of this process is that it aligns with how the body naturally moves. Humans were never designed to remain seated for hours at a time. The act of rising from a seated position replicates a movement pattern that was essential for survival throughout human history. In this motion, the hips extend, the knees straighten, the spine lengthens, all while the body maintains alignment and balance. The forces generated during this motion are transmitted through the bones in a way that activates remodeling processes at the microscopic level. Osteoblasts, which are responsible for building new bone tissue, become more active in response to this consistent stimulus. Osteoclasts, which remove older or weaker bone, work in harmony to ensure that the skeletal system remains optimized and capable of supporting strength and stability. Repeated over days, weeks, and months, this gentle loading creates a cumulative effect. The bones become more responsive, dense, and capable of withstanding the stresses of everyday life. Activities that were once slightly precarious, like bending to pick up an object or stepping onto a curb, become safer because the skeletal system has retained its integrity. At the same time, the joints surrounding these bones benefit from improved muscular support and alignment, reducing unnecessary wear and tear. This combination of strengthened bone, reinforced joints, and activated muscles forms a protective ecosystem that supports longevity, mobility, and independence. Through this simple, intentional movement, the body is reminded that strength, structure, and resilience are not fixed. They are maintained by attention, repetition, and the quiet intelligence of movement. Another remarkable transformation occurs in the way the body manages balance, a quality that is far more complex than most people realize. Balance is often thought of as something that belongs solely to the inner ear or to reflexes. But in truth, it is the product of an intricate dialogue between the brain, the muscles, and specialized sensory receptors embedded in joints, tendons, and connective tissues. These sensors continuously report information about position, tension, and movement, creating a constant stream of feedback that allows the brain to orchestrate stability and motion. After 50, however, this communication can become less precise. The nervous system is still fully capable of responding, but if it is not regularly challenged, the body may begin to rely on less efficient movement patterns. Feet may shift slightly as the muscles hesitate, hips may compensate for weaker stabilization, and the subtle adjustments that once occurred automatically can become slower and less coordinated. These changes, while often unnoticed, can influence confidence in movement and increase the risk of falls, even during everyday activities. The chair squat is a deceptively simple movement that provides a powerful opportunity to retrain this balance system. When a woman lowers herself toward a chair and then rises back to standing, multiple systems must work together simultaneously. The feet press into the floor, creating a foundation and sending signals through the ankle joints about stability and pressure. The knees align over the feet, requiring the quadriceps and hamstrings to coordinate in stabilizing the joints. The hips hinge and extend, guided by the glutes and inner thigh muscles, while the spine remains upright, supported by the core muscles. Each of these elements must occur in harmony, and small adjustments are continuously communicated between the body and the brain. These adjustments are not conscious. They're micro-level recalibrations that refine proprioception, the body's ability to sense its position in space. Repetition of this movement strengthens the neurological pathways responsible for balance. Every time a woman performs the squat, the brain reinforces the connections between the sensory input from the feet and joints and the motor output that guides the muscles. Over time, this results in faster, more precise corrections when the body encounters uneven surfaces or unexpected shifts in weight. The nervous system becomes more confident in predicting the body's center of gravity and stabilizing it effectively. Movements that once felt tentative begin to feel fluid and natural. As the brain and muscles resume a coordinated rhythm that may have been dormant for years, this training of balance extends beyond the exercise itself, because chair squats mimic functional movements. The improvements carry over into everyday life. Walking across a room, bending to reach an object, or stepping onto a curb engages the same stabilizing systems. The strengthened communication between brain and body reduces hesitation and increases confidence, allowing a woman to move more freely and safely. Even subtle improvements, such as steadier posture or a more controlled descent when sitting, reflect the body's adaptation to consistent, intentional stimulation. Beyond the mechanical benefits, the process also fosters mindfulness and awareness. Performing the squat requires focus on alignment, controlled movement, and coordination. This attentiveness cultivates a deeper connection with the body, enhancing both the physical and psychological aspects of balance. Over weeks and months, what begins as a simple exercise gradually transforms into a comprehensive neurological and muscular rehearsal, reinforcing the body's innate ability to maintain stability, respond to change, and move with confidence in every aspect of daily life. The fourth transformation unfolds within the body's metabolism, a network of processes that governs how energy is produced, stored, and used. After 50, many women notice subtle shifts in energy levels, weight distribution, and how their bodies respond to food. These changes are not simply a matter of lifestyle. They reflect a natural decline in muscle mass, which plays a critical role in regulating metabolism. Muscle tissue is metabolically active, meaning it consumes energy even at rest, and it serves as a reservoir for glucose, helping to stabilize blood sugar levels and maintain energy balance. When muscle mass decreases, the body's ability to manage these processes efficiently can be compromised. The result may include slower energy recovery, slight fluctuations in blood sugar, and a sense of fatigue that was once unfamiliar. Chair squats offer a simple yet profoundly effective way to counteract these changes. Although they may appear modest, this exercise activates some of the largest and most metabolically influential muscle groups in the body: the glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, and core. Each repetition challenges these muscles to contract, stabilize, and support the weight of the body against gravity. This contraction triggers biochemical processes inside the muscle fibers, stimulating enzymes that assist with glucose uptake and enhancing the muscle's capacity to utilize energy efficiently. A woman helps maintain the metabolic functions that are closely tied to strength and vitality. In addition to the direct effects on glucose management, chair squats enhance circulation, which plays a critical role in metabolism. As muscles contract, they pump blood through the body, delivering oxygen and nutrients to tissues while helping remove metabolic waste products. This improved circulation supports the metabolic needs of other organs as well, including the liver and kidneys, which are essential for maintaining energy balance and detoxifying the body. Over time, even a modest daily routine of chair squats can enhance overall metabolic efficiency, making energy levels more consistent and helping the body respond more predictably to physical activity and dietary intake. The nervous system also plays a role in metabolic adaptation. Repeatedly activating large muscle groups signals to the body that these muscles are still needed, preventing the natural decline in function that occurs when muscles are underused. This signaling encourages the preservation of muscle fibers, which in turn helps maintain basal metabolic rate, the energy the body requires at rest. By integrating controlled chair squats into a daily routine, a woman is not merely exercising her muscles. She is actively communicating with the body to retain its metabolic vitality, preserving the systems that support energy, endurance, and overall physiological balance. There is also a subtle psychological benefit that reinforces these metabolic effects. Performing the movement intentionally cultivates awareness of the body's capability and energy capacity. This conscious engagement can inspire consistency, leading to habitual movement that further reinforces metabolic function. Over weeks and months, the cumulative impact of these small daily efforts becomes significant. Muscle tissue remains engaged, the metabolic system stays responsive, and energy levels become more stable. In essence, chair squats offer a holistic benefit. supporting both the physical structures that regulate metabolism and the neurological and psychological factors that encourage consistent health-promoting movement. Through this practice, the body is reminded that it still possesses the capacity to regulate energy, adapt to new demands, and maintain vitality even as the years advance. The fifth transformation is perhaps the most profound because it unfolds not only in the body, but in the mind's relationship with the body. After 50, many women notice a subtle shift in how they perceive their physical capabilities. Years of work, responsibility, and routine can gradually create distance from the body's natural rhythms. Movements that were once effortless may begin to feel heavier, slower, or more deliberate. Flexibility and balance may seem diminished, and the body may feel less reliable in daily activities. These changes are not necessarily a sign of decline, but rather a reflection of how attention and habit influence the way the body functions. When the body is engaged consistently through purposeful movement, it begins to reconnect with its inherent capacity for strength, coordination, and resilience. The chair squat, simple as it seems, becomes a daily ritual that fosters this connection, reminding both the mind and the body that vitality is maintained through attention, repetition, and intentionality. Performing the chair squat each day encourages awareness of how the body moves in space. Each repetition invites a woman to focus on her alignment, the engagement of her muscles, and the control of her movements. The feet press firmly into the floor, the knees bend and extend with care, the hips hinge smoothly, and the spine remains upright, supported by the core. This conscious attention to movement cultivates a form of mindfulness that strengthens the relationship between brain and body. Rather than moving automatically, the woman becomes aware of her posture, the force she generates, and the balance required to complete the motion safely. Over time, this heightened awareness improves coordination and stability, allowing everyday movements like walking, bending, or lifting to feel more confident and controlled. Beyond the mechanical benefits, this daily exercise fosters a sense of agency and self-respect. Each repetition is a small, deliberate act of caring for the body, a choice to honor its capacity to move, adapt, and support life. This ritual can be empowering, particularly during a stage of life when societal messages about aging often emphasize loss or limitation. By engaging in a movement that strengthens muscles, bones, and balance, a woman sends a clear message to herself. My body is capable, resilient, and deserving of attention. Over time, this mindset shifts how she experiences aging, transforming what could feel like decline into a process of active maintenance, learning, and adaptation. The chair squat also encourages consistency, which is crucial for long-term physical and mental benefits. Unlike complex exercises that require equipment or specialized environments, this simple movement can be performed daily, anywhere, and without strain. This accessibility fosters routine, allowing the body and mind to experience the cumulative effects of repeated activation. Muscles remain engaged, bones receive gentle stimulation, balance improves, and the nervous system strengthens its coordination. Each day becomes an opportunity to reinforce both physical capability and mental confidence. Perhaps most importantly, the chair squat reconnects women with the natural, fundamental movements of the human body. Sitting and rising are patterns humans have practiced for centuries. Movements that support independence, strength, and functional mobility. By returning to this simple action with intention and care, a woman over 50 revitalizes not only her muscles, bones, and balance, but also her awareness, confidence, and connection to her own vitality. Through this consistent, mindful practice, the body is reminded that aging does not diminish capability, and that strength, resilience, and presence remain ever accessible through conscious movement.